Hi. Um, I am doing a second vlog tonight, for the second one of this day. I feel rumpled. It's been hot out, but it got chilly again today. Anyway, so I had some rough news today, the details of which I don't really know, which leads my imagination to fill in the gaps of what I don't know, which is not really very good. Um, and I'm feeling pretty nervous. And Poppy just went to sleep, and um, Paul is not home from work yet. And I drank a lot of coffee when I got back from my heart test this afternoon. And so I need to be able to do something that doesn't have me on the internet Googling things about my apparent heart disease. So anyway, I had meant to vlog about the topic that I'm going to vlog about right now. I meant to vlog about it a while back, but I just didn't get to it, and so I'll get to it now. Paul's birthday is on April 21st, and mine is on April 30th, so very close together. On the week or so before the 21st, the weekend before that, um, we were in Northport at my mother-in-law's house, and as we were leaving, she said, "Oh, I wanted to treat you to dinner at Maroni's for your birthdays. It'll be my treat, and oh, you'll love it. It's such an experience, and the food's really great, and it's really an interesting experience. You'll love it." She was emphatic about that, and she said it's expensive, so okay. She said it was her treat. Um, so the day after my birthday was a Friday, and I would try to get reservations for Saturday, May 2nd, but they were booked up. But we were able to get reservations for Friday, May 1st. And so I confirmed with Nancy that she would be able to babysit Poppy on Friday evening. Yes, she would be able to. And so we had this reservation, and we went to. Oh, when I made the reservation, they said it's the tasting menu is the only option. You can't order anything. It's just the tasting menu, and it's $105 per person. And I was like, wow, sheesh. Okay. So, oh, and it's cash only. Okay. So it comes to be Friday evening, and we go over to Nancy's to drop off Poppy, and we get there, and she says, "Do you have cash? It's cash only." And Paul and I were like, no. Neither one of us had the balls to be like, "You said it was your treat." We're just like, no. Now I happen to have $100 in cash on me because we'd gotten paid by Cody's parents, and they pay us in cash, more than $100, but that's what I had in my wallet. So Nancy goes into her office, and she comes out with, I told her, I was like, they said it would be $105 per person. So she comes out with a bunch of cash. She counts out $200 and hands it to me. And she said, "Well, I was going to be giving this to the cleaning lady, but I'll give this to you." And that would not be anywhere near enough for tax and tip. But luckily, I had $100 on me. And she wasn't like, it wasn't like, "Oh, I forgot it's cash only and that you were coming tonight. Can I write you a check?" Or, "Here's all the cash that I have right now, but I can give you the rest tomorrow." Or, not, it wasn't, it was just this, "Do you have the money? Because it's cash only." And then we were like, "No, we don't have the money." Then she's like, "Well, I'll give you this because I was going to give it to my cleaning lady." Like, not exactly exasperated, but just unreadable. Like, what? So we go to Maroni's, and it was a fun experience. And the food was good and everything. That was cool. And we get the bill, and with tax and tip, tipping merely 15%, it came to $280. So luckily I did, that $100 I had came in handy. But okay, so we were able to pay the bill, of course, and we go back to her house to get Poppy, and she's like, "Oh, how was it?" And we're like, "Oh, it was great." And Paul says, um, the tax and tip came to $80, so the total bill was $280, and so we had to pay $80. And she just is like, mm, like that weird, like you don't really know, you're not 100% sure if she heard you or understood you, if she agrees or disagrees, or what her emotion is. You just don't know. It's just, uh, uh. And Paul and I both died a little. It was just like this kind of like, Paul just, he didn't have it in him to be like, so can we get a check for that $80? Because an $80 meal, I know it was a $280 meal, but with us having to pay $80, it's way out of our budget. We don't go out to eat and spend $80. We don't do that. We don't have the money for that. Um, so you really didn't treat us at all. You caused us to have an $80 meal that we can't afford. He didn't say anything like that. I mean, of course, not at all, and neither did I, so I can blame him. I mean, I kind of wish he had his mother, but obviously he has issues with her, um, of being uncomfortable talking about anything with her. So, completely understandable. I just was thinking how so different it would be if it were my sister, or my parents. They've been dead a long time, but if they were alive and they wanted to treat us to dinner, it would have been made perfectly clear that the treat was a real treat. And so, um, so the night ended on a fizzly, weird, like, and we didn't. On the way home, Paul and I were like, what the hell was that about? Like, what is, and I was like, Paul, when she first told us about it, she said, my treat. You heard that, right? She said, it'll be my treat. And he was like, yeah, she said that. She did say that. So, and was it up to us to say, can you give us a check? I know you don't have the cash. Can you give us a check for $80? Or when can you give us that $80? Like, was that the burden of, like, that awkwardness was on us? Why wasn't she stepping up and saying, I'll give you a check. Next time I see you, I'll have the cash. Whatever it takes to like get us that $80 to make it truly her treat. It's mind-boggling. And this is a wealthy woman, a very wealthy woman, and she knows damn well that we're barely scraping by on, you know, Paul's part-time job, and we have this childcare gig that's about to end and isn't very well paying. So she knows. Okay, so so then So that was on May 2nd. Just meanwhile, she gave us a large cash gift around Halloween last year, and we ran out of that money a few months ago, but we've been able to survive on our own with Paul working at the law firm and with the Cody gig. So we've been able to pay our monthly bills, and also we get food stamps. And so, we have been getting by, but there's a couple of things coming up, like car insurance, and Paul really wants to get these tickets to Oregon, um, which I feel really ambivalent about, like taking this trip and buying plane tickets when we are like basically asking her for money to do that. He is okay with it though. And then later in the year, in December, we have $7,000 in property taxes. So anyway, the time's coming. The Cody gig is about to end. We've got car insurance, plane tickets, and we need money. So just the other day, this is Wednesday. On Sunday, we went to her house for and for Mother's Day, and Paul, he was so afraid to talk to her though. He kept for days. He's been like trying to figure out if there's a way to avoid it, but he went up to her. Luckily, I was in the other room with Poppy, but I guess he was like, we need money, and she was like, and she said, oh, I was wondering about that, like, because it had been a while since we hit her up for money, which I'm proud of, that we're being able to, like, we're transitioning away from relying on her. But anyway, no, I was wondering about that, and so she gave him a check for $6,000, which is freaking great. Thank you. I came into the room with Poppy as she was writing the check, and she hands the check to Paul and turns to me and says, "So, no more dinners at Maroni's." As if to say, what? That we're so poor that we rely on her for money and we can't be going out to dinner. We don't deserve to be going out to dinner. Whatever. We need to live on a tight budget, which we do. But it was supposed to be her treat. She's making a critical jab about our lavish, foolish ways of dining at Maroni's. But that was her birthday present, and WTF. WTF times a million, right? Yeah, yes. That's it. That's all I got. I mean, what the fuck? What the fuck? But I don't know, I have time. As I was telling the story of her not having enough money on hand to pay for our dinner that she said she would pay for, I flashed back to a few years ago when Poppy was still an infant. We still lived in Portland, and we visited for like during Christmas time in Woodbury when she lived in Woodbury, and we had only like one more day left in New York, and Carol Ann made a trip from the city out to Long Island to see us before we left. Like it was like the day before we were leaving, and she came to Michael and Nancy's house, and we were like playing with the baby. She was a baby at the time, and everything. And then we wanted to go out to lunch, and it was awkward because Nancy and Michael were there, like, and Carol and I kind of whispered like, oh, I just want to go out to lunch with you guys. Like, she just wanted to take me and Paul out and Poppy, but it would be incredibly awkward not to invite them, um, since we were in their home. So Caroline was like, "Oh, so we were thinking about going out to lunch. Any good places you could recommend, and do you want to come along?" And so they suggested this Italian place nearby, and we went to it, and it was a little expensive. I mean, it was just, I guess, pretty typical for Long Island, like whatever. Not horrifyingly expensive by my sister's standards, but we ate the meal and talked and everything. And then when the bill came, they were just completely passive. They didn't reach for their wallets, not even a symbolic gesture in which then my sister could, if she wanted to, say, "Oh no, my treat." She never said my treat. She never said, "I'd like to take you out to lunch." Just, "We're going out to lunch. Can you recommend any place? Would you like to join us?" That's what she said. But they just sat back and my sister, again, it was so awkward that she just paid, like rather than being like, this, I wasn't really planning on making this, a treat for all. I have 20 seconds left. This is going to cut me off. But there's just some serious issues there that I don't understand. It's so uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable. Okay, thank you for listening.